But
but consider what Smash has actually done for the gaming community. Because it was because of Smash where we got like the likes of Fire Emblem over here, and how we got like Starfy over here, and it was basically like with Smash, it's like if Smash does something, you can expect some reactions from other game developers and stuff, or from Nintendo itself to actually do stuff based on that thing.
Here's the thing though, with Waluigi, other developers aren't the ones who are going to be making a game. It would be Nintendo.
And I think that's more of an obscurity too. I mean, Fire Emblem makes sense. It's actually been a big, long-running series over in Japan, so it makes sense that it come up. Or when they bring back a classic series, when they bring Starfy, those are main characters with franchises. If you have Waluigi, this is a very minor character from an already existing series.
Yeah.
Well, that is true.
So, I mean, does it work? Yes, you could definitely make a moveset for Waluigi, and yes, you could definitely make him a fighter, and there would be people to support him. I just don't think that's the best choice if we're looking for new Mario characters to be playable. And it really bugs me when people include him as a Wario character, because he's not. He's never been in a Wario game at all.
Another thing that I think is going to happen is I think Luigi's moveset is going to see a significant change to something that incorporates his vacuum.
Maybe, yeah. Especially with Luigi's Mansion 2, you think
exactly.
You think they're going to do something like that. I mean, that's definitely another thing too, is updating older characters. I mean, and I think that's very important, especially for Smash Brothers. You got this compilation fighting game of all sorts of different video game characters who've had new games over the years. You got to incorporate, new moves to accommodate for their new games, or else, they're going to start to get stale. They're going to be like, oh, we only know what this character's going to do. Like, most people agree that somewhere in his moveset, Mario's going to have that spin attack that he's had in the Galaxy games, just because, it's been used so much now, and it shows off his new abilities.
And we know that the Zelda characters are going to see an update to a Skyward Sword style.
Probably, yeah. I mean, artistically...
Skyward Sword Zelda.
Just like how they made them... Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bang Zelda. We get to play as Bang Zelda.
Yeah! That'd be sweet!
And then, Mario character-wise, then, you see other obscurities, like, people are like, just little like, oh, have Daisy playable, have Birdo playable, have Fawful playable. Fawful's a little better, I guess, but...
The sad thing is, Birdo actually has more eligibility than Waluigi.
Oh, yeah, Birdo's
been an enemy.
Yeah, Birdo's been a boss,
Birdo's actually been in an adventure game.
Waluigi's most evil act was dancing. What a terrible man.
Oh, God. That's terrible.
He was the main villain in Mario Dance Dance Revolution. So,
Can you even consider that a game? All right, so moving on.
Your next would be like Donkey Kong and the other like Mario side series type stuff. Most people from Donkey Kong, you rarely see anyone outside of adding, King K. Rool, your main villain, or adding Dixie Kong, kind of your, main female.
Yeah.
I say King K. Rool is the better choice to go. He's kind of been your main villain. Or I would also say, maybe you don't even really need another Donkey Kong character. You got DK, you got Diddy, and Donkey Kong Country Returns, great game, but it didn't include any other recurring characters, and like none of the newer games for the consoles have. Both of them.
I would be so surprised, if they brought K. Rool in after not including any Kremlings.
I would love to see K. Rool, but unfortunately, I'd have to agree that it's probably not as likely.
Yeah.
Or for any other Donkey Kong character, for that matter. I'm guessing, I'm just going purely off of speculation, I'm guessing there's not going to be a new DK character. If they did have one, I'd like to see K. Rool.
With the Yoshi series,
who is there? Exactly.
Yeah, it's just Yoshi and a bunch of Shy Guys.
It's Yoshis and Shy Guys and more Yoshis and baby characters of the other markets. I hate that. I hate baby characters in anything. I hate baby characters.
But what?
Pizza
they
hates
might
babies.
be in the next Smash. What if they are?
No. No baby characters.
That is the next.
Like Pokemon. I love the second generation Pokemon, but I gotta say, baby characters is the stupidest creation ever in Pokemon. It's like, hey, Don't you want to play as a Pokemon that's weaker than one you already had?
Super Smash Brothers Daycare.
Or, even Mario Kart, it's like, do I want to play as Mario or do I want to play as the infant version of him? And they got so ridiculous in Mario Kart with babies, too. It's like, hey, look, we got Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, and we'll just make up Baby Daisy just to balance it out.
We lost KP again.
Darn it.
We did. Gosh darn it.
KP, why does KP sound familiar? Wasn't the name of the Koopa Troopa in Thousand Year Door that you would fight with the Glitz Pits arena?
Yes!
I'm so
I actually haven't played Thousand Year Door, but...
That's a good game.
Play it, it's amazing.
Actually, I think it's the best one in the
series. So are there any other Mario spin-offs that we could pull characters from?
We actually might want to move on to a different franchise for that, because we've actually gotten quite a lot of time on the Mario series alone.
Yeah.
And this is a Zelda podcast.
I'll just wrap it really quick. Yoshi series, the only other character you see a lot is people are like Kamek. And I disagree with Kamek because you never actually fight him in a Yoshi game.
But he would be a cool character otherwise, though. He'd have these spells and stuff. He had like a bunch of projectile-based attacks.
Right, he has good moveset potential. I just don't find him to be an overly interesting character as a character. For Wario characters, if it's not Waluigi, you see Captain Syrup, who kind of makes sense, but once again, you never see her do anything.
But I think she almost has a Captain Falcon sort of off-screen moveset potential.
Well, yes.
Because everyone. You know she does things.
But you could say that about any character, too.
Not like Dr. Styles.
Okay, well, we're not getting that yet. We've seen that. We've seen these. And you see WarioWare characters, which I guess there's potential, but I'm kind of
But speaking of third-party characters, you know who would be awesome in Brawl?
Mega Man.
Or in the next one?
Mega Man.
Phoenix Wright.
Okay,
Phoenix Wright.
Okay.
He could poke your freaking eye out.
we see rosters with Phoenix Wright. I always disagree with them, but I love Phoenix Wright. Obviously, I love Phoenix Wright. I just don't think that he's.
We all love Phoenix Wright.
He's not our number one candidate for a Super Smash Brothers fighting character.
If you have to choose a Capcom representative, it's got to be Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man, definitely Mega Man. Yeah. A lot of people wanted. He's actually in Super Smash Brothers Flash 2, so if that's any testament to his moveset potential, it's that. So they can really implement that into the next one.
You have Mega Man, the person who takes attacks from his enemies. How can you not make a moveset out of that?
Yeah.
Well, they already did with Kirby. So they could just do the same. They could just do something similar.
Kirby does it differently. If they make Mega Man eat people, I'm gonna quit.
The other thing with Mega Man 2 is it just kind of has a logical sense to it with the Mega Man, starting out in the NES and like having how many games for Nintendo consoles?
Yeah, there's a huge history there, not just with Capcom, but with the Mega Man series as a whole. And that's what I think is important with third party, is that it shows that part of Nintendo, because Nintendo is not just Nintendo. Nintendo is also its relationships with third parties. I
always love the way you phrase that too.
No, because Nintendo doesn't owe all their success to only themselves. They've had very, very successful relationships with some really key franchises and developers who have helped to keep them alive, and companies who they have helped to save. Square Enix is around because of the Nintendo, letting the, in Final Fantasy, actually stopping them from going bankrupt and folding.
That is true. That is true.
So, and since then, Nintendo and Square Enix have been intertwined like crazy. They have so many successful series, so many successful games, that I think we need to see a Square Enix rep, just as bad as we need to see a Capcom rep.
Sora.
Well,
and Shion.
I think, honestly, my personal feeling is the best possible representative is Geno.
From Super Mario
RPG. Because I feel that's like the best example of Square Enix and Nintendo intertwining there is.
Well, they do have PSAs for Geno though, so that's also possible as well.
Geno, by far is the character with the most. Well, I don't know if he still is. Pre-Brawl and even after Brawl, Geno was the character with the most fan support.
He was hacked into the game twice.
except for But Sonic was actually the most suggested character, or the most requested character.
He actually made it into the game. I mean characters that didn't make it into the game.
Oh, okay.
Gino is the most supported by far.
Yes, I'll definitely give you that. I just didn't know you just weren't being specific enough. So
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
My apologies on that.
Once they announced Sonic, everyone was like, okay, we got Sonic, now we're good.
And I'm tired of I'm tired of people saying that there need to be more Sonic characters.
I hate that.
This is not a Sega game. This is a Nintendo game. One representative per franchise, I feel.
I don't think we need more than Sonic for the Sonic series.
Yeah, we don't need more than Sonic for Sega as a whole.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
I don't know. I'd like to play as Crazy Taxi.
And what bothers me even more too is that they always talk about adding more Sonic characters, some of these fan rosters, but then they never add any more Metal Gear characters. It's like, what's wrong with Metal Gear?
A lot of people want to take Snake out. They're like, yeah, he doesn't fit in the game.
I think that's probably just because I think that's just a bunch of people feeling butthurt over how high tier he is in Brawl in the meta game.
And also they're like, oh, it doesn't make sense to have Snake in there. He doesn't fit, and he's not in a lot of Nintendo games. I'm like, wait. Snake has been in Nintendo games. There are Metal Gear games.
Yes,
for Nintendo.
Yes.
Most of the time, when I hear arguments like this is usually when I know people don't know their history. Snake's never been on a Nintendo system.
Well, that's
incorrect. the Metal Gear games were on the Nintendo.
Apparently, they haven't heard of the Twin Snakes.
Yeah. And they've had the remake of the first Metal Gear Solid.
The first Solid game.
Twin Snakes. They've had that remake on the GameCube. And they've had several handhelds.
And they're getting another remake for the 3DS.
Exactly. And now I got people who are telling me, well, it doesn't make sense anymore because they're not coming. It's like, Snake Eater 3D. Where have you been?
Yeah. So that's not really a good excuse for them to take them out anymore. So if he could go into the next Smash game, that would be cool.
Yes.
Just don't make him as good. Please don't make. Just please take away his forward tilt, and I'll be happy.
How many new third parties do you think we're going to see in the next game? 2 or 3?
No more than 2, if 2. I would say 1 is definite, 2 maybe.
I want them to add 2 because there's 2 companies that I feel have had a huge history.
Capcom and Square Enix.
I think Capcom and Square Enix both deserve more than Konami and Sega do. I feel like.
Well, yeah, I'd actually agree. I don't know about Konami, but
Namco would be good too.
I feel like Capcom and Square Enix are on a much better basis.
Now, Square Enix,
they used to be on bad terms with each other though, because I think it was because when they switched the Final Fantasy series over to the PlayStation after Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, that was kind of its own debate, because, originally, Final Fantasy VII was going to be an N64 game, but then they felt that the N64 wasn't powerful enough to do everything they wanted to, so that's when they made the switch to the PlayStation.
What happened was they saw the CD format, and they saw what it could do for the series, and that's why they made the switch.